गणनायकाय गणदेवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि। गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदेवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलाक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि। Thank you.
Namaskar and a very good evening to all of you. We the physiologists are indeed delighted to associate ourselves with this memorable occasion of 75 for 75 to commemorate the Platinum Jubilee of SCB Medical College, Cuttack. This concept of Platinum Jubilee is the brainchild of our esteemed Dean and Principal, Professor Dattesar Hota. We welcome you all to be a part of this celebration for the next 2 hours. I invite Professor and HOD Physiology, Professor Bipin Bihari Pradhan, to kindly take his chair on the dais. I invite the guest of honor of the evening, Professor Prasanjit Mohanty, HOD, Dermatology, to occupy his distinguished chair. Declaration. I invite our Dean and Principal, Sir, Professor Datteshwar Hota, to kindly give his welcome speech.
Sir, go see the dais kunde sir. Professor Banchanidhi Parida is on his way to the dais. In fact, we took the time, so I have joined here. Respected Professor Parida, my colleague Professor Pradhan, Professor Mohanty, in the front row, my erstwhile teachers who formulated my career, the entry of my medical college. Professor Banchanidhi Parida, as I mentioned, he is the chief guest of the evening. Professor Anupama Panda, Professor Kamala Nanda, Dr. Ashok Panda, Professor Surekha Devi, Professor Uttama Misra, Professor Josnarani Patnaik, Professor Karuna Das, Professor Ashok Pradhan, Professor Basanti Pradhan, Dr. Arpita Priyadasini, presently the professor and HOD of Physiology in Sri Jagannath Medical College, Puri. My senior teacher, my colleague, friends, students. Today is the 50th day of our Platinum Jubilee 75 per 75. We have just entered the Golden Jubilee Day. We started on 13th September. So now today we are crossing the Golden Jubilee period of SCB. So we have another 25 days before we go for the final events. That is the Platinum Jubilee. Well, I am revisiting my early MBBS days. I see my teacher on the front. At the initial part of the MBBS career in the first MBBS, all my teachers, they taught us. I'll recollect one event. During my first MBBS, before I go to mention about the significance of this function, I still remember and I still quote Professor Surekha Mahanti, who was my table teacher. In physiology, you know, we have a little bit of worried whenever we were going to the practical class. This is the only place where you are asked to prick your own finger for a sample. You know, that is the most painful thing. You have joined medical college. On the first day, you could go to the anatomy department, you encounter a ghastly cadaver. You go to the physiology department, you are asked, prick your finger. Consciously, can anybody prick his own finger? Very difficult. We have been pricking everybody's finger, but when you prick your own finger for a sample and you see your own blood picture. So that is what the speciality of physiology, but initially there was hesitation, but later on we got adapted. I was a sportsman, I was a cricketer, so I was missing many classes during that time. Whether Madam Surekha Devi remembers or not, let me recollect that. But she had an extra attention to me. There are two reasons for it. My classmate is very much well known to them. When I joined back, in fact, I was missing classes quite often because of the cricketing practice. Late Professor Prahat Padi, Professor Vidyut Das, myself, we were so glued to the cricket, we are missing our classes many a time. Because it was a good gap. When I came back, Madam told, you have missed a lot, but I'm sure you will make it up. So that encouragement I still remember, Madam. You have missed a lot, but you can make it up. Well, I remember the days when Professor Akhya Acharya was our HOD, Professor Bhanchanidhi Parida was our assistant professor. Professor Parida, very lovingly we are calling, because he used to come with a white pant and a white shirt and a half sweater with blue stripes, looking like a cricketer. So we are telling he is our cricketer teacher. So at that time we are telling. My friend Prasanjit is sitting here, Pratima is sitting here. They must be recollecting our days. So, but at that time, the teaching environment was totally different. I'm pretty sure Professor Pradhan will agree with me when he comes and speaks. The teacher-student relationship was something unbelievable. It was love and affection. There was a fear with a love. We are fearful of our teacher were loving us. Somehow that equation is missing nowadays. Maybe because over the last 75 years or maybe over the last 4 decades that we are studied 4 decades back. So things have changed. Now we are only 100 students, now it is 250 students. So the teacher-student relationship has not been the one that we used to have. So that part is there. We have to look into that. In 75 years, when we are celebrating the 75 for 75, when it is basic department, anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, it takes us back to our days when we are attending anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, we still remember Professor Rao in anatomy. And we remember, I will just say how beautifully they were correcting us. One day I was a class representative at that time. I went into the dissection hall. I was appearing my part completion test before Urmila madam. And all of you know, Urmila madam was a little dwarf. So she was sitting on a tall stool and I was sitting on the front. I was a tall man. So when she was sitting, at one point of time, she just moved a little. I didn't notice that. Then I completed my part completion. When I came out, Professor Rao was waiting. Datneswa, yes, sir. Why you didn't stand when I went? He was behind me. Sir, I didn't see you. Madam stood up, looking at me. I said, sorry, sir, I didn't notice. Then I was a little apologetic. I said, sorry, I could not give you respect, sir. Give you, then I realized he is correcting me. Pay you, sir. So this is the relationship we are having. They were watching everything that we are doing. They were guiding any time we are requiring. And we cannot forget the love, affection, and the care, concern of our teacher. So I see them today before me. I am overwhelmed. It takes me back to those days. Distinguished teachers, we are in the 77th year. Corona took 1.5 years. Otherwise, we have celebrated at the right time, but never it is late. We have designed this program in such a way that not a single person, individual, in whatever capacity he has contributed for this medical college over the last 77 years is forgotten or ignored. We do not want to miss any individual who has contributed. And we are grateful you have come to your own college where you have contributed immensely. You have contributed not only to the college, you have contributed to all of us. And we are proud of you all, sirs and madam. Well, the few days that we have before we complete the 75 for 75, when you go to the grand finale on 26th, 27th, and 28th, please join us again and give us your blessing. I don't want to take much more time than what I have told. I can conclude by saying we are humbled, we are grateful, and we will ever remain grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening words. Now I request Professor B.B. Pradhan, HOD Physiology, to kindly address the gathering.
Namaskar. I wish you all a nice and pleasant evening. The Reverend Professor Vanchanidhi Parida, our chief guest of this occasion. My dear friend, Professor Prasanjit Mahanti, head of the Department of Dermatology, the guest of honor of this evening. My admirable and respectful teachers, senior colleagues who have joined us today. Our esteemed Dean, a dynamic Dean, rather, Professor Datteswar Hota, on whose inspiration and guidance we are having each department celebrating one day, each unit celebrating one day for 77 years of existence of 75 years of existence of this so-called Odisha Medical College, renamed as SC Medical College, Cuttack. We are in fact celebrating the platinum jubilee of that Odisha Medical College. My friend, Vice Principal, Professor Banbihari Misra, all my senior colleagues, head of the departments, colleagues from different departments, the supporting staff, and the officials, and my dear students. This is an occasion of celebration, not only for an individual, not only for the institution, not only for a particular department. This is the celebration of the state of Odisha. Because this medical college was named Odisha Medical College when Odisha was confined to 6 districts: Baleswar, Cuttack including Anugul, Puri, Ganjam, Koraput, Sambalpur including Khariar. So that was why it was named Odisha Medical College, and the initial intake was 20 students. Subsequently, annexure of the Darjats, it expanded, and the number of student strength also expanded from 20 to 30 to 50, like that. So on this occasion, I welcome you all. This is the premier institute of this state. The plan of the government to raise it to a new height. And I am not here to tell the importance of physiology, because physiology is a science by its own merit. It does not need anybody's explanation or support. And there is no meaning in telling the importance of physiology to this land gathering. We are blessed with the presence of our senior teachers. Many of them were my direct teachers, and many of them were my senior colleagues. In fact, I have worked with them all. And this gives me an opportunity to meet them again. So this is an opportunity for them also. After the corona pandemic, about 2 years, we are suffering from this pandemic, and nobody has come out of his own house. So this is an occasion that will have a mesmerizing effect. You will think of this occasion for some time to come. And I assure our dean, the inertia he has set in this institute, he is at the lead of the running race, and all the 75 units are making the relay race. So there is no time to be apprehended, and I think we will reach the finishing line, finishing goal, which will be more jovial, memorable, and purposeful. And the interest of Professor Parida is praiseworthy. Professor Parida stays throughout this pandemic, stayed at Bilaspur. When I telephoned him, sir, we are going to have the Platinum Jubilee celebration, and we are assigned a day for physiology to celebrate it. He agreed. More Sigra GB. Unfortunately, few days back, he sustained a fall and a scalp injury, little mild concussion. In spite of that, imagine a personality this age has come all along from Bilaspur, because there is an attraction of his alma mater and the institute where he has served for the maximum time of his life. You see, this zeal, this inspiration must be imbibed by everyone here. This is a sort of blessing for us, and this blessing, this hour of blessings on this department, on the institute, will certainly raise us to newer heights. my friend, Professor Prasanjit Mahanti, was more inquisitive from the day he was tagged with our department as the guest of honor. He was more interested to join and see the madams who taught him. He asked me, "Madam coming? Which madam coming?" Like that. Till yesterday function, Saturday. So this is the value you have enriched in the mind of everyone. As Professor Hota was telling now, small things has a larger magnification as we go aging. That help, that guidance inculcated by you in your students, and similar traditions, I hope, will be maintained for the generations to come, to not to celebrate functions like this, but to enrich their behavior, their tradition, their culture for generations to come. What more I can say? Now I will request, and Professor Hota, I will not say anything because everybody is admiring and he deserves admiration. As I told you, he has set the ball rolling. He is running in the relay race at the lead, and we are with him. With this, I thank you all for joining us and making this evening purposeful and lively. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your encouraging words. Now I request our guest of honor, Professor Prasanjit Mahanti, to speak a few words.
Good evening, everyone. Respected chief guest, sir, HOD Physiology, Professor Datteswar Hota, our Dean and Principal, all the people on the below the dais, and ladies and gentlemen. The stupendous success of this ongoing 75 and 75 Platinum Jubilee celebrations has left one dizzy, wondering what the next extravaganza is. Today is the evening for the day of physiology. I thank the HOD and Dean for making me the guest of honor here. I am really physiology is probably the only department apart from pathology and pharmacology which has the remains of the heritage building, headed now by the dynamic Professor Bipin Bihari Pradhan, a dear friend of mine and also my classmate. He is not only an academician but also an excellent teacher, and his contribution to the administration and planning of a college is well appreciated. The pre-platinum Jubilee CME conducted by the Department of Physiology on sleep therapy was simply spellbinding. I wish the Department of Physiology all the luck for having a wonderful evening today. Lastly, I like to thank our Dean from the bottom of my heart to do something which no one has ever done before. to bring out our yesteryear teachers out of oblivion onto this forum to be recognized by the present and the future members of a fraternity. A small quote which I remember by Henry Adams, which says, "A teacher affects eternity. He or we can never tell where his influence stops." Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening words.
You could have taken care earlier. Solicit कर दो. हाँ, मैंने
Now it is the time for felicitation of our chief guest, Professor Banchanidhi Parida. I request our dean to kindly accompany.
Professor Banchanidhi Parida. He joined specialty in the year 1961. His field of interest includes respiratory physiology, a devoted research worker with international recognition, headed the department 2 times in 1981 to 83 and 1986 to 87. Retired as professor and HOD, SCB Medical College, Cuttack. Dr. Banchanidhi Parida.
Friends, I congratulate all of you. After a long time we met, so I think it is time to congratulate all of you.
In sir and everyone.
Good evening. I have come back again. We feel very happy, proud and privileged that Professor Arun Mahanti, one of the professor of physiology, has started functioning as DMET from today. And I think a big apology is required for him. Loud one. Professor Mahanti, who took over the charge of DMET yesterday evening. I was fortunate to be present there yesterday. He has come. He told me, Dateshwar, I want to join that tomorrow because it is Physiology Day. And I think for the first time a physiology professor has joined as DMET. Yeah. Now I request Professor HOD, Professor Pradhan, to go and felicitate him. Please come here, Professor. I think Professor Mahanti, you please come here. We would like to felicitate you. Please come. Light down, Kabir. Yes, felicitation.
Serving for the best of the society comes back in an unexpectedly positive way. Professor Ramaramana Mahanti his dedication and hard work has made him the Director of Medical Education and Training. We congratulate you, sir. He was the professor and HOD of Physiology, SCB Medical College from the year 2005 to 2015. He organized the department in the new building, so-called the Building 3. He organized the Epicon 2014 at Puri, and he was the principal of SCB Medical College in the year 2015. Professor Anupama Panda. She entered the specialty as a lecturer in the year 1963. Her field of interest includes respiratory physiology. She organized the national conference of APPI at Cuttack in the year 1996 during her tenure as professor and HOD of physiology. Retired as superintendent of SCB Medical College in 1998. In fact, she is the first lady superintendent of SCB Medical College, Cuttack. Professor Kamalananda entered into the specialty in 1969. Her field of interest includes cardiovascular physiology. Retired as professor and HOD physiology, SCB Medical College, Cuttack in April 1998. Professor Surekha Devi entered specialty in 1972. Her field of interest is cardiorespiratory physiology. Retired as professor and HOD physiology, SCB Medical College, Cuttack in the year 2003. Dr. Ashoka Panda entered the specialty in 1968. Her field of interest includes respiratory, exercise, and neurophysiology. A research worker of high standards with her name in the Ultimate Reference Book of Physiology, APS Handbook of Physiology. Retired as Associate Professor in the year 1995. Dr. Uttama Mishra entered into specialty in the year 1974. Her field of interest includes cardiovascular and respiratory physiology. Retired as Associate Professor in 1999. Professor Karuna Das entered specialty in 1991. Her field of interest is respiratory physiology. Retired as Professor of Physiology, PRM Medical College, Baripada in 2018. Professor Josna Rani Patnaik entered the specialty in 1985. Her field of interest is respiratory and work physiology. Took voluntary retirement as Professor and HOD Physiology, SCB Medical College in the year 2005. Dr. Basanti Pradhan. She entered as specialty in the year 1973. Her field of interest includes cardiovascular and renal physiology. Retired as assistant professor in the year 99 from the SCB Medical College, Cuttack. Dr. Minati Saud. She joined the specialty in 1972. Her field of interest includes sports physiology. Retired as associate professor in the year 2002. Professor Arun Kumar Pradhan. He entered the specialty in the year 1970. His field of interest includes electroneurophysiology and membrane physiology. He retired as HOD Physiology from SCB Medical College, Cuttack in the year 2001. Professor Lakshman Das entered into the specialty in the year 1966, field of interest, neurophysiology and reproductive physiology, retired in the year 1996 as Associate Professor, SCB Medical College, Cuttack. Professor Akshay Kumar Mishra entered specialty in 1991. Field of interest includes exercise physiology, retired as Professor at HOD Physiology, MKCG Medical College in the year 2018. Our guest speaker of the CME, Professor Arpita Priyadarsini, HOD of Physiology, Sri Jagannath Medical College, Puri. She spoke on critical role for circadian rhythm and sleep in immunity. This felicitation is to convey our respect to our retired physiologists who during their tenure in service gave their best in this institution of SCB Medical College, which is celebrating its Platinum Jubilee today. Thank you.
Now, on this occasion, we have to remember the foundation of physiology in this institute, and the foundation of this physiology institute made a wider spread into all the subsequent medical colleges which came up in this state. So history continuity with the past is not a duty, it is only a necessity. More it becomes a necessity because more and more younger people are entering into our stream, not knowing what was exactly the things in the past. So we have divided into 4 headings: programs, that is the curriculum that is running in the physiology. Physiology is basically a teaching department with associated research, and the pagodas, the patriarchs and profs, and the postgraduates. The so-called Odisha Medical School, 1877, February 14th, it was declared open, and it was redesignated, rather improvised into a Odisha Medical College in the 1st June 1944. My senior teachers present here might be remembering, if it happened during their career, that first MBBS physiology teaching and the duration was 24 months. It included histology and biochemistry. Then it became 18 months after the histology find a space in microanatomy or anatomy books. Biochemistry, though got separated subsequently, but it was continued to be taught as a single department under physiology. Then the duration of the course became 18 months. After 1997, graduation medical rules by MCI reduced it to 12 months, and now with the revised curriculum, it is 14 months. The intake initially was 20 students. In 1944, it increased to 30, then to 50, then to 100. For 1 year, when the Burla Medical College opened, this became 150. Now we are teaching 250 students in MBBS. The MD, the letter of permission came in 1960, and the entry of postgraduates in 1961. Then the duration of postgraduate was 2 years. It became 3 years after 1993. Initial intake was 2 seats, then increased to 3 seats. Recognition came in 2013. It increased to 5 seats. Recognition came in 2016. Now we have 7 postgraduate seats in physiology, and it has been recognized by the Medical Council of India then in 2019, and this intake of 7 will continue up to 2024, when we may need a renewal. In this medical college, dental being opened in 1983 with 20 intake. Now it has increased to 50 seats, and this year there is admission of 91 students. Their duration is 12 months. MDS opened in 2008 as a separate dental college with 2 subspecialties with 4 intake. Now there are 9 subspecialties with 27 intake, and we are teaching them physiology for 3 months. With an understanding of Social Welfare Department of Government of India and DMET in 1985, 60 students were admitted in each branch of BPT, BOT and BPO in NITAR, and the SC Medical College took the responsibility of teaching and training them, examining them. The duration of that course is 12 months. We also teach physiological psychology to MPhil students who are admitted for clinical psychology or social psychology. There are total 26 seats. The duration of teaching is 3 months. Self-financing courses started in Odisha, so also in the medical college with 20 and 10. Now they have increased to 80 and 30, DMLT and DMRT. And they are taught physiology and examined for 6 months. BSc Nursing, though we got a letter from DMET in 2009, probably due to pandemic, we have not been able to take the classes. Now I take you at an area where everyone is familiar, but difficult to believe what they are. In 1906, a separate building was erected in front of the gents hostel, and every senior physiologist and the physiologist up to my batch or student beyond that, the inscription on the wall, physiology department, that was facing the then principal's office, was erected in Odisha Medical School. This was housing, this housed physiology and chemistry labs. What was the necessity? Entering into the necessity of this building, the review of literature from different angles, what we have searched for, Indian Medical Gazette in 1905, subsequently 1907, Indian Medical Gazette was published every year for the upliftment and the purpose of health department in government of India, colonial government of India. And 1909, that says that LMP, when he started in Odisha Medical School, was 2 years. It was all over India. That they were teaching anatomy, materia medica or so-called pharmacology, medicine and surgery. Then there became a rule in 1905 that in order that they will be recruited for career doctor recruitment for provincial subordinate medical services. There were 2 types of services. Military services of the doctors, mostly they were taking the British doctors. For subordinate services, they were taking Indian doctors. and they added few other disciplines to that LMP course and made it 3 years. Physiology and chemistry, midwifery or so-called gynecology, obstetrics and gynecology and ophthalmology were added, and the duration of LMP became 3 years. Now we can say that teaching of physiology in this campus started officially after that building. That can be a landmark when we started teaching physiology in this medical school. Subsequently it became medical college. So all of you remember that hematology department, that hematology lab. We have a converted hematology and we have converted the same lab into a demonstration room or a mini lecture theater of 125 students when we are having demonstration classes, and the lecture theater it is operating as paramedics. That's not enough. During the tenure of Professor R.K. Das, the expansion of department, the second building came us nearer to in front of that old building. So it was constructed in 1950s, and that housed experimental physiology lab, amphibian. Still we are continuing with that. Mammalian physiology, demonstration room, faculty chambers, and this made the MCI to give LOP to start the postgraduate courses. 2 seats at the beginning. That was not enough. In 2003, Government of Orissa wanted to increase seats from 100 to 150. That time the junior lecture theatre was demolished, the old principal office, the BMR room, everything were demolished. In that place, a new building came up. Our Chief Minister, Shri Dr. Naveen Patnaik, laid the first foundation stone in SC Medical Campus on 2006 January 31st, and the building was completed and again inaugurated by him on 2010, and that houses now both whole of biochemistry and a part of physiology. We have there a demonstration room. This room was earlier a hematology lab. We have converted library and seminar hall, PG research lab, museum, the demonstration room, another demonstration room, and computerized lab, HOD's room, and in 2013, now we jump to have 150 to 250 students. That infrastructure was not sufficient. Government again expanded another building, new academic block, in which physiology is having the advanced hematology research lab, hematology practical hall or research lab, for so that 125 students can sit and do the hematology experiments. We have a staff room there and we have a store there. So this building, the department is now extended to 4 buildings besides the venue of lecture theatre in anatomy department or online classes in telemedicine, with same number of staff for all time to come. Now it is time to remember some founder physiologists who laid a tradition. Physiology is a tradition, it is not a subject. The teachers have made so much influence to the minds of their disciples that physiology is a tradition. A new medical college may come up tomorrow. Today it has come in Sri Jagannath Medical College. Day after tomorrow, a new medical college. The same tradition continues all medical colleges. This you will not observe in other states. We visit many states where the things of one medical college doesn't tally with the materials of the other medical college. The methods differ. But here, the tradition is set by our founder fathers, founder professors. Before I go to talk about our professors, I take you to information that renowned physiologists from British Physiological Society were posted in India to start teaching of physiology in different medical colleges. So There were 6 such experts. We will concentrate with 1 and 2. Colonel Mackey, he studied in Calcutta Medical College, and Dr. Callet, King Edward Medical College, Lahore. We all know Lahore, Professor B.K. Anand was trained by this man at this college, and Professor, our founder, Professor S. Banerjee from Calcutta was trained in this medical college, and when he joined in 1944, he had the staff. The list of staff no more available. Professor Rajguru has given me these names, and I hope the senior people who are here can know them. Dr. Kailash Tripathi, Assistant Professor, Captain Banerjee, Dr. K. Subramaniam, Dr. R.N. Sen, 1947 joined as a demonstrator. Dr. Mahendra Chandra Mishra, Ophthalmology, he became an ophthalmology professor subsequently. Dr. A.S. Sinha, Dr. Rajkishore Das joined in 1946. The purpose of my telling is that the influence of this man was so tremendous on the staff then. Captain Banerjee, he was with the MSc, he returned to his own state. Dr. A.S. Sinha became subsequently, he was from Bihar, he moved to Patna Medical College as head of the department. K. Subramaniam, Tamilian, he came from Madras, he did PhD from New Zealand, has subsequently continued in the biochemistry department, the first biochemistry professor of this medical college. Dr. R.N. Sen joined in 1947, went for PhD course under Professor B.K. Anand at All India Institute of Medical Science. In the seminar hall of All India Institute of Medical Science, New Delhi, the name of Professor R.N. Sen hangs in the list of the PhDs under Professor B.K. Anand. The first PhD of Professor B.K. Anand, Dr. R.N. Sen. He subsequently moved, he joined subsequently and moved to Bulla as the founding father of that institute. Professor Rajkishore, there was so much influence there. That time MD was not there in India. Either you do PhD, to PhD you have to go somewhere, and Professor Rajkishore Das went to England. And this man at that time has done so much of research work that he became nominated to the President of Indian Science Congress Physiology for his outstanding research. He remained principal of this medical field 2 times. Remember, on 15th August 1947, he was the person to unfurl the tricolor in this campus in front of the gents hostel. That time only first building was there of physiology, second building has not come up. He returned to Calcutta. He stayed, government retained him till the medical college got MCI recognition retrospective effect in 1952. Then the most important professor, Rajkishore Das, who did MBBS from Patna, went to London for PhD. He returned with a central grant, expansion of department, experimental physiology lab, respiratory lab, departmental library, many instruments for research, upgradation of physiology and startup PG with 2 intake. He was encouraging research on work physiology, respiratory and cardiovascular physiology, and under him, Professor R.M. Sen has returned from AIMS with DPhil from Calcutta University, Professor A.K. Acharya, Professor James Senapati, Professor N.C. Panda joined after post-graduation and continued in biochemistry, Dr. Sasimani Panda, Dr. N.K. Satpathy, Dr. Nirupama Maya, and our sir, Professor Banchanand Parida. These 3 were postgraduates. And under him, about 11 postgraduates qualified. He moved to Bhubaneswar as additional director. Professor Satpathy maintained the legacy set by Professor Das, and Professor A.K. Acharya joined in 1975. By that time, he returned here from Bulla to Barampur, founder professor, and to Cuttack. He was the 5th batch medical college best graduate. He had a rank in the Bihar, Orissa entrance board. He was the first MD physiology of the state. Till that time, all were before him. 2 were PhD holders. He was the first to publish when the Professor Anand started a journal of Physiology and Pharmacology of India. He was the first contributor of to that journal of his research work, the role of ions and muscle contraction and relaxation. The first physiologist to receive a scholarship. All have gone with fellowship. He received a scholarship for special training in neurophysiology in USA. And he was responsible for procuring lot of instruments and equipments for undergraduate. He moved to Bulla with Professor Sen and became the founder, Professor of Physiology of MKCG Medical College, and also he was 3 times principal of Bulla. Professor Parida was 2 times head of the department in this medical college, and he was a close associate of Professor James Senapati in all his research works. And Professor Senapati joined in 1983 to 86. He was actually a first batch student, and he has MD from AIMS, New Delhi. In 1961, under Professor Anand, he has fellowship in respiratory physiology, University of California, pioneer in study of increase of respiration during exercise under Professor Pentel at a Patel Chest Institute, and his co-workers, both of them are present here amongst us. Professor Parida and Dr. Ashoka Panda, they have done an immortal work. They find a reference in the bibliography of Handbook of Physiology Respiration. Respiration comes in 2 volumes. Total Handbook of Physiology now available in 44 volumes. And they have a place in the bibliography about their work. Professor Senapati was a BC Roy awardee and emeritus professor of physiology from 1987 to 1992. He was awarded honorary doctorate in science by the Utkal University in 2009. Professor Mardaraj, Professor Pradhan was instrumental in obtaining valuable instrument for PG research like multi-channel polygraphs, mobile computerized spirometry. Then Professor Anupama Panda, she joined here in 1993 and 97 is continued. Most important thing he could do, she organized the conference, All India Conference in 1996 in this campus. Subsequently, all professors and foundation stone laid by Chief Minister, and my predecessor, who is also here as today as a DMET, Professor Amaramana Mahanti, was here for 2005 to 2016, organized the department in Building 3 when it was constructed. He is responsible for establishing the computerized clinical lab, and under his mentorship, the Epicon 2014 was organized at Puri. And on this occasion, we remember them, those who are not with us, but they will always be remembered for their contributions to teaching and strengthen the physiology in Odisha. This is the list of postgraduates qualified so far in this institute. 60 qualified, 4 are awaiting to be qualified shortly. This is our present department, faculty, postgraduates, tutors and everything.
Future, a convenient place for dreams. Teaching and research are the 2 pillars of which the arch of our physiology department depends. Acquiring modern instruments and elaborating continued studies in collaboration with other departments and institutions will be our motto. Current plan to obtain the following high-end equipments for PG study and research: computerized treadmill and digital cardiac monitor for cardiovascular functional assessment, digital polygraph for mandatory instrument for all sorts of experiment and clinical instruments, autonomic function tests, instrument and tilt table, assessment of all visceral functions like GI and cardiovascular system in normal and abnormal cases, border composition monitor and electronic metronome. Earlier concept of BMI is no more tenable in modern physiology. Rather, fat-free mass and fat-free mass index are the important parameters of body for assessment of any physiological function. pure tone audiometry and Edridge lantern, most of the diseases of present days have involvement of hearing apparatus which are hardly assessed by routine clinical examination. So the role of pure tone audiometry and to assess normal and defective color vision, the Edridge lantern is used. Thank you.
In the words of Arthur C. Guyton, the renowned physiologist, nothing is more beautiful than the beauty of life. With this phrase, let us start the jamboree of the evening. So first, I will call upon the stage Adyashri Patnaik, daughter of Anshuman Patnaik, our assistant professor.
He had been